You are listening to Zimbabwe News. Keep listening to Zimbabwe News.
The mic doesn't bite. So how is your Friday morning going?
Our Friday is so good.
It's super. It's lit.
Alright, so guys, right now it's the world's best breakfast and it's time for I must say Zim Classic Request. Sorry, my brain is like all over the place. But right now it's time for newspaper review, and we're going to start off with the Zimbabwe Independent, the leading business weekly, which is going for $50. So on the front page we have Mnangagwa blocks Mbeki mediation. I already read a few just bits of the story, but I'm going to read some more of it. So SADC leaders have been left frustrated by President Emmerson Mnangagwa's administration following his decision to block former South African President Thabo Mbeki from mediating in the proposed dialogue with his fierce rival opposition MDC leader Nelson Chamisa. Government and diplomatic sources revealed this week. SADC countries, in particular economic powerhouse South Africa and Botswana, are unhappy with Zimbabwe's ongoing social, economic and political crisis, bad investment environment, state interference in public institutions, lack of respect for trade agreements and lack of competition in business. Mbeki visited Zimbabwe mid-December last year on a SADC-initiated mission to nudge Zanu-PF and MDC into negotiations. This was after regional leaders realized Harare's problems were caused more by a political crisis than the so-called Western sanctions. Which is true. I mean, hey, the sanctions only affect just a few people. They don't affect everybody. So, people are just being greedy out there. And then, still more on the front page of the RBZ in fuel forex abuse storm. So Parliament is investigating the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe RBZ's weekly foreign currency allocations to fuel importers amid revelations that foreign companies and some retailers who do not import the commodity are benefiting from the direct fuel import facility in a development that has raised concerns about arbitrage and abuse. The central bank has for the past 3 weeks been releasing foreign currency allocation schedules for fuel importers. The schedules show that some local fuel dealers who do not import the commodity are benefiting from the facility, while foreign firms like Singaporean based multinational company that trades in metals and energy Trafigura are getting the bulk of the allocations. Puma, which reserves its own allocation, also benefits under the Trafigura allocation. And so smuggling cartels cost Zim US 1 billion. So the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority, ZIMRA, is studying an explosive dossier compiled by a regional anti-corruption institution detailing how the tax collector could have been prejudiced on estimated US $1 billion since 2007 by a syndicate of firms through tax evasion and the illegal importation of haulage trucks, trailers, and goods. So, yep, that's it from the Zimbabwe Independent, the leading business weekly, which is going for $50. So now we shall jump into the Herald. So, what you got for us, lady?
On the front page of the Herald, the headline: President orders schools, colleges to close next week. All schools, colleges and universities must close next week Tuesday as the government steps up efforts to ensure an outbreak of the coronavirus in Zimbabwe is controlled and minimized. So far, no case has been confirmed yet, while originally the government was prepared to let the normal term end. President Mnangagwa yesterday said in a statement that the government's new decision was informed by concerns raised by parents and the education sector. Still on the front page of the Herald again, we see that there's another headline: No going back on land reform, Zimdola. President Mnangagwa on Wednesday stressed that the land reform was irreversible and the government would not substitute the local currency, the Zimbabwe dollar, despite mechanizations to destabilize and destroy it. He made the remarks when he addressed a rally at Umira Secondary School in Nyanga North after having commissioned Nyakomba irrigation scheme earlier in the day. President Mnangagwa's remarks come in the wake of a recent move by the government to enact a law which invoked a clause stating that indigenous farmers whose farms were appropriated by the government under the fast-track land reform program can now apply to repossess their land under the newly gazetted regulations. Then, since this is the Women's Month, we also see that there's a headline, "More can be done to stop domestic violence." Women from Mashonaland East Province experience more spousal violence than any other females in Zimbabwe, 55%, according to the latest multiple indicator cluster survey, MICS 2019, released last week. In the MICS report released by the Zimbabwe National Statistics Agency, ZimStat, they having experienced all forms of spousal violence, including Mashonaland East 55%, followed by Masringo 54%, and Manicaland 53%. Mashonaland Central Province has recorded a decline 51%. In the 2014 MICS, Mashonaland Central recorded 60.5%, the highest in the country. We are now moving to the H Metro.
Nah, not yet. We're not doing the H Metro yet. Yeah, let's not hurry that one.
Yeah.
But anyways, now we're going to move on to the daily news, telling it like it is, without fear, without favor, and it's going for $25. On the front page, we have government confirms corona worries as minister reveals serious shortages of testing kits. As the world continues to grapple with the deadly coronavirus, the government has revealed that it does not have enough kits to test people requiring attention, further raising fears that the country is ill prepared to deal with the pandemic, the Daily News reports. This comes as President Emmerson Mnangagwa has banned all large gatherings in the country, including scrapping this year's Zimbabwe International Trade Fair and the country's 40th independence celebrations. The admission by under pressure authorities that they do not have enough testing kits also comes as regional powers and Harare's biggest trading partners, South Africa, home to millions of Zimbabweans who have fled the countries. And then we have Sikala reports areas to LSC. MDC Vice Chairperson Job Wiwa Sikala has written to the Law Society of Zimbabwe to register his fears about suspected security agents he says are trailing him, the Daily News reports. This comes as Sikala and other hardliners within Zimbabwe's main opposition have called for radical action against President Emmerson Mnangagwa and his government in a bid to force them to act on the country's worsening economic rout. The firebrand politician cum lawyer is claiming that since his acquittal on treason charges, he's being trailed by people he suspects are state goons. And then we have so this is just news in brief. We have essay to erect fence at Bay Bridge. South Africa plans to install a 40-kilometer fence on its land border crossing with Zimbabwe to prevent undocumented migrants and people infected with the coronavirus from entering as part of emergency measures to contain the spread of the disease. And then we have license hike notice fake Zinara. The Zimbabwe National Roads Administration has said that the motor vehicle license increasing notice being circulated on some sections of social media is fake. In a statement yesterday, Zinara said, Zinara is a statutory body that falls under the Ministry of Transport and Infrastructure Development. Therefore, any review of license tariffs is done by the parent ministry and is gazetted. The Roads Authority urged the public to disregard the message and not to panic, saying the fake information was aimed at causing alarm and despondency. The social media message that circulated purported that license fees had been increased by over 500%, going up from $200 to $2,000 per term. And then now last story from the Daily News. Police to enforce ED decree. The Zimbabwe Republic Police says it will ensure President Emmerson Mnangagwa's decree banning gatherings of more than 100 people is religiously followed by conducting patrols, surveillance, and checks to ensure compliance as the threat of coronavirus mounts after neighboring countries South Africa and Zambia recorded cases of the pandemic. South Africa has so far recorded 118 confirmed cases, while Zambia has 2. The police warning comes after Mnangagwa yesterday launched a national awareness and preparedness campaign in which he indicated that it was not business as usual because the virus is coming to Zimbabwe. In view of the coronavirus pandemic, the measures put in place by the government of Zimbabwe and ZRP will ensure that all government directives and regulations meant to step up the safety and security of citizens are prioritized. So that's all from the Daily News, telling it like it is, without fear, without favor, and it's going for $25. Now we're gonna move on to the H Metro, the H Metro.
Okay, the H Metro headline: Catholic Church leaves streams mass, Buyanga gets joint custody, and Murizo the new wife. Government tracing Emirates passengers. This is the second page. The Ministry of Child Care says they are contact tracing all the passengers that boarded the Emirates flight carrying a Zambian couple that recently tested positive for COVID-19. Zambia on Wednesday confirmed 2 cases of a couple who tested positive for the diseases after returning for a holiday in France. Their pair's case has raised main concerns on social media platforms since the flight came from Dubai, then Zambia, and lastly Zimbabwe. Speaking to H Metro, Director of Environmental Health Services at the Ministry of Health and Childcare, Dr. Victor Nyamandi said the response team is doing whatever it can to ensure that all the people that were aboard the flight are screened. So we already have conducted details for all the other passengers from Dubai who are coming to Zimbabwe, because naturally we have to follow up people who have passed through countries affected, and Dubai is one of them. Then going to the next headline: woman threatens to kill ex-hubby. A Harare woman is allegedly threatening to kill her ex-husband with the assistance of her boyfriend. This came to light after Godwin Gondokondo held his ex-wife Future Haadi to court seeking a protection order against her. He claimed that she opted out of the marriage and was in the habit of going to his residence, selling his property and stealing his money. Then going to page 5, Catholic Church to leave stream mass. The Catholic Church in Zimbabwe will leave stream mass in the wake of coronavirus pandemic, which government has declared a national disaster. Zimbabwe Catholic Bishops' Conference responded to the announcement, which had come to a crucial time as the church celebrates Easter season, which beforehand has Palm Sunday, Holy Thursday, and Good Friday, which attracts a large number of congregants. The Catholic Church in Zimbabwe has over 1.4 million members in Harare, Bulawayo, Masvingo, Mutare, Chinoi, Gweru, Gokwe, and Wange diocese across the country. ZCBC Secretary General Frederick Chiromba confirmed to H Metro that Catholics are set to follow live stream of Mass through various social media platforms. The bishops are only providing a special dispensation at this time in response to the pandemic. We are still working on the revised program for Easter in line with the declaration of the President, and most dioceses are still consulting, he said. Going to page 11, Andy Murizo's new lover. Controversial musician Andy Murizo has yet another lover in his life, and she's pregnant. Both the musician and his manager confirmed the development, adding that Andy Murizo is set to traditionally marry his lover next month. H Metro caught Andy Murizo with the new woman Tasha Green having a romantic moment in a vehicle hours before his show at Muchakata nightclub in Kwazana 5. Dear Murora Uyu, Zimbabwe, here is your daughter-in-law. She is called Tasha Green, she is colored and does not speak Shona, confessed Andy Murizo. The dreadlock musician, however, disputed claims that his lover is behind his trip to the United Kingdom. Then lastly, going to page 13, Buffalo Soldier drops Rihanna video. Buffalo Soldier has released a video to his second single of 2020 titled Rihanna, and it is trending on YouTube. Speaking on behalf of the chanter, his manager Kuma Piri said they worked hard to produce the visuals of the single released on Valentine's Day. This song was released on February 14, and we have to work hard to release the video, he said. Piri said the song describes the type of woman every man dreams of, and the video also highlights the same. Rihanna describes the type of woman every man prefers: boss lady, laid on the streets, and freaky woman, he said. The video carries the aspect of culture, and Piri alluded that it is suitable to be watched in the whole of Africa. This was H Metro's review, and H Metro is going for $5.
Alright, thank you for that. And then on to the best newspaper in the world. That's Newsday, everyday news for everyday people, which is going for $25. And today is Friday, March 20, 2020. Oh, by the way, those are 320s. So then we have ED order schools of varsity's closure. That's on page 2. And Zimbabwe to unveil new song. That's on page 14. On the front page, you have Africa must brace for the worst. That's from the World Health Organization, as Zimbabwe builds US $26.4 million COVID-19 war chest. The World Health Organization has urged the African continent to brace for the worst in the fight against the coronavirus pandemic. The warning came as Zimbabwe yesterday launched a US $26.4 million kitty to fight the deadly virus. The Southern African country is one of the only 17 countries on the continent yet to record any infection of the deadly novel virus that has grounded most of Europe, Asia, and Americas and put the world economy in a spin. Namibia recorded his third case yesterday as a 61-year-old German who arrived in the country from Amsterdam via Zimbabwe, where he was two days ago.
You are listening to Zimbabwe News. Keep listening to Zimbabwe News. Keep listening to Zimbabwe News. You are listening to Zimbabwe.